Hey, sports fans, welcome to WTP Sports. This morning, we got a special edition of the Ohio State Buckeyes 2026 preview. I'm here this morning with some of the finest analysts across the country. We're here to talk about Ohio State. You see two of their number one fans down there at the bottom of the screen. We got our man T1 of City League TV with us this morning. How you feeling, T1?
I'm feeling like R. Kelly a little bit, man. I'm sorry, I ain't trying to get off subject or nothing, but man, I don't know what y'all doing to me, man. I just want to sleep in on my off days, man. And y'all want to get up at 9 o'clock in the morning and get me started early. It's football season, so I'm ready to get busy, man. Let's go.
Let's go. We also got our man One Take Zaiah in the building with us. How you feeling, One Take?
I'm good, man. You know, it's One Take Timmy. I deserve a Grammy, an Oscar, and an Emmy.
I know that's right. And you could not have an Ohio State preview without a nemesis, without a rival on the show with you. We got our man Parlay Poe in the building, rocking the Michigan background. How you feeling, Parlay Poe?
Man, I can't complain. Ain't nobody gonna listen to me. How y'all doing, fellas?
What up with it, Paul?
And you know, anytime I got to do a show from the SEC lab, we got to have somebody from the SEC with me. I got to have some backup. I got my man SEC Sean with me here this morning. How you feeling, SEC Sean?
Doing good. Wasn't going to miss this one. They're going to be a lot to talk about here coming up, I think, with some of the stuff that's already been said. We got one person on this screen who made an extremely bold prediction that we're going to get into later on. And I'm sure the two fine young gentlemen down at the bottom are going to just rip into that pretty hard. And, you know, you can't mention Ohio State without Michigan. And you know, Poe, he's going to come at it hard up there. We already know.
For sure. Thank you, I playing ENR71. Thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. Listen, y'all. We also got a poll out there that we're going to put on the screen pretty soon with that bold prediction that I made. We're going to see what the other people out there think about the bold prediction I make. I'm going to put that up a little bit later. But let's get into the questions that we got for these Ohio State fans who have been watching fall ball very closely, and they're going to break down what's happening with the Ohio State Buckeyes. Our first question. New OC Arthur Smith steps in. What does he bring to the table offensively for Ohio State?
I'm gonna say first of all, man, he brings a championship pedigree, which is something that we're used to here at Ohio State. And coming from the NFL, all you can think of is, you know, right now, I'm quite sure we're going to get on that defensive end of the ball too, but to have an NFL caliber offensive coordinator with the experience that he has and the way that he loves to win and run that football, man, it's about to be something special out here. We got something special for y'all this year, man.
Yeah, Arthur Smith, man. Everything you hear coming out of the Woody is that, you know, the structure of the offense is much more fine and consistent than what we had with Brian Hartline last year. Not throwing Hartline under the bus, but, you know, it was like he was running the offense as, you know, you got the run game coordinator. He'd go to him and get information. Then you got some pass game coordinators. You'd go to him. But with Arthur Smith, it's like, you know who in charge, you know. So I think he's simplifying things for guys. You'll see a lot of what we're hearing is you're going to see a lot of the same base formations, but it's plays off of plays off of plays. So I think, you know, you might see a look, but you never know what's going to come. So I think just the simplicity that he's bringing to the offense and the structure is going to deeply affect a better outcome than what we seen last year, because that offense could have been way better last year.
And it's going to be way better this year. And I know a lot of people may want to say, now, how can you get way better from what you were last year and in the previous years? But also a thing that, was mentioned, they said that the playbook book shrink. And you got to remember that Hartline really was a young, you really could call him a young, inexperienced offensive coordinator. So the steps forward that we're taking with getting Arthur Smith is you should be able to see a difference. And then they, like I said, they simplified the playbook. So those plays that work and work well, those are the plays that's going to be ran, and they're going to build off of those plays. You may have one play, and of course, you have option 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then there's other different ways that you can go within them plays. So I think that he's going to make it a little bit more easier and enjoyable for this offense, and I think we're going to see some fireworks, baby.
Yeah, hey, and we was the slowest paced offense in college football last year. That ain't going to be the case this year. I don't think we're going to be in the top, but we need to be somewhere in the middle of the pack. We don't need to be last. It's too much firepower. And another thing that Arthur Smith is going to do as well is we didn't use cadence last year as a weapon. We did a lot of silent count. That's what killed us in the last 2 games of the year. You got these monster defensive ends that you going up against these defensive lines, and you using silent count. They pinning their ears back, and they just looking for when that guard tap that center, and they rushing. So the cadence is going to also play a big role in the offense this year.
Yeah, hey, Tina, thank you for joining. Make sure that you tell your husband, Michael, if he has a question for these 2 gentlemen on the Ohio State Buckeyes, being a huge Michigan fan, tell him to put it in the chat so that way we can have both of these gentlemen answer his question about the Ohio State Buckeyes, even though he's a Michigan fan. All right, SEC Shaw, here's your question that you had.
Yeah, it was, and this is a lot of brought up because of some stuff, Zay, you had mentioned earlier in the year. But Tavian St. Clair, can he push for any reps if Zaiah struggles? Obviously Zaiah is your number one, but I know you've mentioned St. Clair, Zay. So if Zaiah comes out and struggles a little bit, do you think they would make a change?
Man, listen, we all know how I stand on Julian Zaiah. I'm a real tough critic on Zaiah. And I kind of got to backtrack a little bit because really last year was his first starting year. So I think I might have been a little too harsh on him. I want to see the development. He gained 20 pounds, 15 to 20 pounds. They said he's been using his legs. That was the most critical thing. But St. Clair been trying to fend off Luke Fahey. Luke Fahey lost his black stripe maybe faster than any quarterback in Ryan Day's tenure as a head coach. So how serious do I take it? Luke Fahey is a 3-star quarterback prospect, only standing about 6 foot. So I don't know how serious I take it, but, maybe they just trying to, push St. Clair to the point where he's not comfortable so he can get better. But they said Fahey been balling, man. So really, it's still an open race for QB2. And do you really want to give a guy like Fahey QB2 moniker? Because if you do that, now you got to worry about St. Clair hitting that portal. 6'4", strong arm, 230, can use his legs. Got a good rapport with Chris Henry Jr. and other guys, Brock Boyd, guys that he'll possibly see the field with in the future. So do you really want to, put him as QB3 knowing that the transfer portal is real? So I don't know. You hear these things, but I think they just really trying to push him to get better.
Real quick before anybody else jumps, for people that might be tuning in for the first time, that may not know a lot about Ohio State or football in general, that may be trying to learn something, explain what the black stripe is.
Black stripe at Ohio State, it don't matter if you a freshman incoming or you're a portal guy. When you lose the black stripe, you're officially a part of the brotherhood, and that means you are ready to play for Ohio State, and you're an actual Buckeye.
It's earned, baby. Hey, so I go ahead because I was, Zay gave y'all a perfect example of what it is. And, just to let y'all know, you don't, just because you sign to come and play for Ohio State, once you get on campus and put that helmet on, you don't just jump into the brotherhood. You don't just become a Buckeye just because you were a 4-star or, a 5-star or whatever, whatnot. You got to come in here and earn every single thing that you get because this is a championship program. And when you have a championship program like this, you get questions like this, because there's not too many questions that you have to ask when you're talking about the Ohio State football program. So as I was saying, you get questions like this about talking about our Heisman finalist quarterback, and you want to ask if somebody gonna push him. Yeah, they're gonna push him right back into that Heisman final seat again, and they're gonna push him right to them college football playoffs, and they're gonna push him right up to the top of them charts when it's time to get up out of here and go to the league. So he gonna sit right there as our backup, and he gonna get a little bit of work in when we, blowing the wheels off of some cats, and we may sprinkle a player or two in here for him to come in and maybe use his legs or something like that. But other than that, man, Julian is the man, and I look for him to have just as good as the season as he did last year, but we plan on him using his legs a little bit because he left a whole lot of easy first downs on the table last year that could have changed the outcome of a couple of these games. And we only had a couple games that we needed to change the outcome for. But like I said, he's going to start using those legs a little more just to pick up the first down, not try to, do anything extra, but just to keep those chains moving. So, no, he's not getting pushed for anything.
All right, let's go to our man post game with the question that he had for our two Ohio State gentlemen. Post game.
Yeah, good morning, fellas. It's great to see y'all on this morning.
Good morning.
T1, my main man, one take Zay. So my question is, with the loss of Carnell Tate to the NFL, who will emerge as that next wide receiver alongside Jeremiah Smith? Now, it may be a committee, it may be one guy, it may be two guys. I know y'all got the transfer McEwen from UTSA, who's interesting to me. But in your opinion, who's the next guy besides Jeremiah Smith?
Hey, I would say, and everybody knows Chris Henry. You know what I mean? Everybody knows it's Chris Henry, but as you said, McEwen from that transfer that we got in here, he's making big noise. He's making big noise. They're talking about possibly throwing him up in there, but I mean, this is wide receiver U, man. So there's always a next one that's coming up, and that's going to be special. But, we talked about this a long time ago, and Zay one take hipped y'all onto Brock a long time ago, and Brock Boyd is still out here making plays as well. So it's wide receiver U, man. It's going to be problems with this offense this year, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, with Arthur Smith, there's going to be problems, man. I really look for this offense to be dynamic, as we usually are, man. Go ahead, one take.
Man, this is a real deep room. We got 5 or 6 guys that I just don't even mind. 6 guys that I really don't even mind what you mix and match with Jeremiah Smith on the field. But everything that I'm hearing coming out of the Woody is the best 3 guys is Jeremiah Smith, Brock Boyd, and Chris Henry Jr. That's 2 freshmen and Jeremiah. So, but this is the thing, Cortez Hankton came in. Cortez like to rotate receivers. I don't expect Jeremiah to be off the field too much, but them two spots, I think those guys is going to rotate as much and keep fresh legs as much as any group on the field this year. Brandon Ennis was awarded the Block O, which is a special thing at Ohio State, which typically is given to one of the leaders on the team. And Brandon Ennis, he's probably not one of the better receivers in the room, but intangibly, you cannot replace him because he's, like I said, he's a leader. He got one of the best work ethics in the program. He just does everything right. He's one of them guys that, is going to get that room going and motivate. He's just an older guy in the room as well and on that side of the ball. So, he got a block. He's going to be a good blocker. But as a ceiling wise, Kyle Parker, McEwen, all these guys, Brock Boyd, Chris Henry, all these guys have a higher ceiling than Brandon Ennis, of course. But, they all bring something different as well, too. McEwen is a speed guy. Kyle Parker can take the top off the defense, and he played a lot of slot at LSU last year. Brock Boyd can play in or out. You could throw Chris Henry out there and then throw Jeremiah Smith in the slot. It's a lot of things that Arthur Smith got at his disposal, man. So, I definitely look at a rotation. But when it comes down to it, fourth quarter, you got to have it fourth down. If your best three guys is two freshmen and Jeremiah Smith, that's who I want to see.
Okay. We got our man Post Game is up. Parlay Poe is up next with an offensive question for you two. Parlay Poe, what kind of question you got for him?
Okay, being knowing Arthur Smith and he's a play action run guy, how comfortable are you with saying up under center?
Go ahead, one take.
Hey, listen, he gonna be under center in the NFL. You gotta rep it. So I don't have a problem. He is a quarterback. He should have been under center all his life. We got a lot of spread offenses out here in the modern day of football, but that's just something you rep. If you ain't used to taking snaps under the center, you got to get used to it eventually. But Arthur Smith is going to bring a lot of different things. It's going to be a modern pro offense. And what do we breed at Ohio State? We breed NFL players. It's an NFL factory. So
yeah. I'm saying I know this cat. I seen him for like 2 years. You know what I mean? He was OC for my Steelers. So I know he like to do a lot of play action, and he ain't shy about putting that quarterback up under center. That's what I'm saying. And some of these high school quarterbacks that go to the college really don't be up under center. You know that. They straight spread. Some of these offenses be straight spread.
Yeah. Rep it. You gotta rep it.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying too, Poe, because really, and you can go and you can say with some of these Pop Warner Little League teams, they're going out the shotgun straight off the rip. Yeah. You know what I mean? From the mini league, they already in the shotgun. So I understand what you're saying, because it's a different game when you get up under that center, and that's not what you've never done it. But when we talk about Julian saying, I see a very, very hard worker that is willing to put the time in to do whatever it is that he needs to do to get better. So I don't look at that as a problem. But hey, Poe, I want to ask you a question. With that being your former offensive coordinator, does it make you a little uncomfortable to be like, they going from Hardline to Smith, and Smith is a real life offensive coordinator, and he probably could make some things happen for Ohio State. Do you feel that way in any type of way, or you feel like he ain't gonna come in here and make no type of difference? How you feel about that, Poe?
I don't know if he's gonna make a difference, but what Hardline was doing, y'all were spreading y'all's good guys out. You know what I mean? Like y'all would have like Carnell Tate on the linebacker. 'em. You know what I mean? Somehow y'all had that happen. But, you know what I mean? Like, y'all would have like Carnell Tate on the linebacker. You know what I mean? Somehow y'all had that happen. But, you know what I mean? Like, y'all would have like Carnell Tate on the linebacker. You know what I mean? Somehow y'all had that happen. But, Arthur Smith shrinks the field. He like to run and play action. See, y'all's tight ends gonna get the workout. I'm telling y'all, if y'all got good tight ends, they're gonna get a workout this year.
And we do.
Yeah, they're gonna get the workout this year. So Arthur Smith shrink the field, but I don't know what he do in college though. That was the program. So he might have a different scheme in college. But he a good OC though.
Hey, were there any times when you were watching the game and maybe they had a 4th and 2 or maybe even a 3rd and 3 and he called a play and you just got pissed off at him and wanted to throw something at the TV because you thought that was a dumb play that he called? Did you have a lot of moments like that?
Yeah, I did. But when you have Aaron Rodgers, you know what I mean, like a veteran quarterback, sometimes he can see it. So we don't know if it was Aaron Rodgers or the play calling. So,
Okay. All right, I'll just see if I got to get prepared for that because it seems like I do that with almost every offensive coordinator. I feel like I could have called a better play than that, and we could have got this first down. So I was just checking the game.
Yeah, I think too, LT, though, the margin for error in the NFL is going to be way different than in college. The talent gap is wider in college when you're talking about Ohio State and then the next team. It's just everybody in the NFL, they pros for a reason. So the gap is not that wide in the pros.
Yeah. How do y'all feel about y'all's offensive line room? What are they looking like?
I feel like go ahead. All right.
You got it.
I feel like I feel like we're definitely going to improve from last year. We have to improve from last year. And, with all of the experience that we have coming back, and, once you have that experience on the offensive line, it makes a huge difference. I don't think you ever get a returning offensive line that does the same or worse than they did in the previous season. So really, I'm feeling like if this offensive line is intact and together, it's gonna be some problems, man. Y'all got to get y'all's popcorn ready. Go ahead, one take.
Yeah, I mean, we returned 4 out of 5 starters, and the one guy we lost was our weakling, Tegra Shabola at right guard. It's been a lot of shuffling with the offensive line, and we got a good problem. We got, 3 different options at offensive line. And the one option that I like the best is starting Ian Moore at left tackle and also Saraville at right tackle, and possibly Josh Padilla at right guard. Luke is going to go back to left guard, and Carson Hinsman is going to go back to center, of course. But Ian Moore is the best tackle on the roster, and it's not even close. Like, if anybody turned on the tape from the Miami game last year, he only played 30 to 35 snaps, but he absolutely handled Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor. Now that first drive that he got out there when they threw him in the game, you could see he was like probably a little nervous. But right after that, though, when they put him back in the game, we went straight down the field and scored. And it was because of him. He was handling them guys. You got to turn on the film. This dude he looked like a first round left tackle. That's what he looks like. So in any world that we live in, if they do not put Ian Moore on the field, we have a huge problem with this coaching staff because he's the best tackle on the field. So of course, Austin Saraville was our best lineman last year. More of a guard, but in this instance, I'd rather play him at right tackle because, he played tackle all year last year, and he did pretty decent, And I just don't like Phillip Daniels there, the transfer we got from Minnesota last year. He more of a guard to me. He kind of heavy on his feet. So I want to run Ian Moore and Austin Saraville as my tackles. But this line should definitely be way better, especially if they insert Ian Moore at that tackle position.
Our man SEC Sean got the next question on the board. What you got for him, SEC Sean?
Just last year, there was a lot of talk about the Ohio State running game. We all know Bo Jackson's coming back. But what are your feelings on your depth at the running back position behind him? I mean, he's obviously starter, but how do you feel about your depth?
Go ahead, one take.
Hey man, listen, we don't even know if Bo is going to be the starter this year. He was 1,000-yard back last year. This Isaiah West train is heavy. He was a little banged up last year, so I don't think Buckeye fans really got to experience the full Isaiah West, experience. But he done picked up 20 pounds. He had like 220 right now, but he been repping more with the first team than Bo this summer. So, I think we're gonna be a little more to like 50-50 with both of those guys, more like a Quinshawn Trey type of thing. But we feel real comfortable with Jacoby Jackson right behind them if anything happens to one of those guys. But West looked explosive, man. The thing with Bo too is, the one thing we needed him to be better at last year that they said he's been better at this year is when they get to that last guy and you trying to bust a long one, you got to make him miss. And they saying that he's starting to make those guys miss on that last line of defense. So I expect a good rotation with the running backs, even Legend Bay, but Legend Bay keep on getting in trouble. So, it was rumors that we suspended him for 2 practices, undisclosed, but, we like him as well, but, he keep on getting in trouble. He going to be in the doghouse. But we got 4 guys. Nobody knows what Turbo is because we have not seen Turbo since he's been on campus. We heard about Turbo. We haven't seen him. Favorite Key, all them guys still ain't quite ready. But the 4 guys on that leaderboard will be West Jackson, both of the Jacksons, and Legend Bay. Legend Bay gonna rep that running back and receiver though.
Yeah. Go ahead, SEC Sean.
I didn't say nothing.
Oh, okay. I thought somebody said Legend Bay.
Me too. I said it. That's a good name.
Oh, okay, okay.
He's a freak.
Hey, y'all, this running back room is deep, y'all. This running back room is really, really deep. And the way all of these backs have come into camp, especially Isaiah West, he's come in. You can tell that this young man was on a mission. The small little snippets that I've been able to see of just running back drills and the way that he's attacking these drills and just running hard in the drills. I'm extremely excited to see this running game this year with Arthur Smith and this returning offensive line that has a whole lot of experience now. And, Bo Jackson, we know what he did as a freshman. Jacoby Jackson, coming in from Florida, and then Legend Bay, and then Turbo. I mean, because Legend Bay I believe that he got suspended early because it may have been something small, but Coach Day had to let him know, like, listen here, we don't get down like that here at Ohio State. You're not going to be able to, do this and do that, and just because you're Legend Bay, what you're used to being that superstar. It don't rock like that here, and we'll sit you right down, and you'll be looking at everybody out here having this fun and this success that you signed to Ohio State to come and be a part of. So, man, this is a very, very deep and talented running back room. I'm looking for that Junkins Henderson type of thunder and lightning and sharing the wealth back there type of offense coming out that backfield this year, man. And once again, just like every other year, I'm extremely excited, man.
Yeah, our man Post Game is going to take over the defensive segment of the show. So Post Game, here you go, bro.
Yeah, just real quick, if I can circle back on the running backs, I want to know what's the difference between Bo Jackson and Isaiah West.
Bo is a slasher. Like, he going hit the hole and try to get Northwest. Um, he can run guys over a little bit. But by Isaiah West, he a little more shiftier. He'll run you over too. He had the most yards after contact per average last year on our team, more than anybody. I always said last year Isaiah West was our second best running back. I don't know, maybe it's because he was a true freshman. You bought C.J. Donaldson over a guy that was supposed to be a short yardage running back, but I didn't think that was just a good output for us last year. And then you had James Peoples, who was supposed to be more of a Travion Henderson type back, speed burst. But overall, balance wise, Isaiah West, I thought when he touched the ball last year, he made guys miss, but he rarely ever got tackled with the first person that touched him. Rare. It was rare. He always fell forward too. I like my running backs to fall forward. So it's just a little bit different style. I think just Bo is just way more of a slasher. Isaiah West is just more of a thumper to me.
Yeah, I think West's gonna bring a lot more of that power. You know what I mean? So yeah, but both of them are some really, really good running backs, and I'm looking forward to that 1-2 punch this year.
Gotcha. So on the defensive side of the ball, you guys lost Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, and Downs, some elite playmakers, elite athleticism on that Buckeye defense. I don't want to say replace, because I don't think anybody can replace guys like that. But who do you guys see stepping into those roles?
Hey, so we got Peyton Pierce, who I think me and Isaiah is pretty high on this young man. And as you see year in and year out, we just next man up. It's next man up. Us Buckeye fans, we really don't get worried when we lose these first round draft picks, because why? We lose first round draft picks every year. There's somebody back there licking their chops, ready to get in and do what their predecessors did so they can get to that NFL and get that bag. So, we're not worried about that. And then we got the transfer from I think Nebraska, Christian Allegro. I mean, a really hard-nosed Buckeye type linebacker. So, as big of freak of natures that both of those linebackers were. Now, these linebackers aren't as big in size, but they know how to play that running back position, and they know how to get after it. So, I mean, then you still got Riley Pettijohn back there too, and you got Sincere Johnson just coming in. So that linebacker room too, they're waiting for their opportunity to see if they can become a part of that first round success that we've been having in the NFL. So they want to get in there and they want to duplicate what Styles and Reese did last year. Once again, like, no worry whatsoever.
Yeah, when you get to talking about position group rooms, it's always a couple rooms, that you just feel highly comfortable with at Ohio State. Receiver room, we always pretty much solid there. You believe in Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson has been doing it for a long time. He's one of the greatest to ever do it on the collegiate level. So you always got faith in Larry Johnson to roll out those guys. And then, Tim Walton as the cornerback coach, OG Tim, we always going to believe in him. His room is always top tier. But you got to add James Laurinaitis to that mix. James Laurinaitis do not miss, So they saying Sincere, and we know Riley Pettijohn is a freak. Sincere Johnson is the same type of freak athlete, true freshman out of Glenville. But T1 touched on it. Peyton Pierce and Christian Allegro out of Wisconsin. Those are the guys that we pretty much are going to probably roll out first. But that freak list, them freaks is going to see the field, man. Them dudes are freak athletes. So I expect to see them. I expect to see a little TJ Alford too. back there. So I'm real comfortable with that group, man. James Laurinaitis, he's just one of the best position coaches in the country to me. I got full faith in James.
We mentioned Caleb Downs going on to the NFL. What does the rest of that secondary look like? Who's going to step in and be your starters in that secondary?
Hey, listen, Downs is a generational talent. There's no replacing him by any means, So really, I think one of the best units we ever had, at Ohio State that you've ever seen was that 2024 unit with Ransom and Hancock along with Downs. Listen, we done had the number one defense 2 years in a row. I don't think we're gonna see a number one defense this year. Top 15 though is well within reach. I think this group will take a step back just because you losing a generational type of guy back there that's going to lead the defense. But with all that being said, Jalen McClain, I expect him to have an All-American year. He was right there with Downs, and he was overshadowed by Downs last year, but he turned in a hell of a season last year, and I expect him to get nothing but better. We got we're probably going to start Earl Little at the opposite safety just because Jay Timmons then came in and blew waves. Jay Timmons looked like he going to start at nickel this year, and he just came in balling, pound for pound. They saying this dude was the best player in the recruiting class last year throughout the country, honestly. But, we got Dominic Kelly that came over from Georgia who was pushing Jermaine Matthews. I still think they're going to roll Jermaine Matthews out there first alongside Devin Sanchez. But if Jermaine struggle, you're going to see Dominic Kelly. And they two different corners, Jermaine only 5'11", Dominic Kelly 6'2", so he a little more longer and rangier. But we like our secondary. Terry Moore is another guy that Matt Patricia is going to be able to deploy when you want to move Earl Little around a little bit, because Earl Little, he got a lot of different attributes and skills where he's not quite Caleb Downs, but you can move him around the field. He like to stick his nose in there, so you can play with him like a chess piece as well. But when you see him moving around, you'll see Terry Moore on the field.
Yeah, I'm really I love the additions that we have back there in the secondary with Earl Little and Terry Moore. I think those additions with our veterans that we have out there who've already, got that time last year in Matthews and McClain. But then you even have to throw in Sanchez out there as well. It's his time to break through. He came to Ohio State as one of the best cornerbacks in the country, and they were looking for him to come in and continue that success at the next level. So, I mean, like One Take said, we're not going to have another Caleb Downs out there, but I think what we're going to put out on the field, we're going to be able to get that production as a group that it's going to look like Caleb Downs is still out there. And as they said, yeah, maybe not a top 1, top 2 defense, but I'm saying maybe so a top 1, top 2 defense once again. When you look at that linebacker position, that back 7, that back 8, whatever it may be, I think we have enough experience out there to have a very, very successful defense. So once again, I know y'all know me. Y'all can call me Homer Smith, whatever y'all want to do, but Homer really don't be missing year in and year out. We have success, and I don't see anything different happening with this back 7 and this secondary from last year. Although we're losing a Caleb Downs, but I see more interceptions coming this year than we had last year. And we'll come back and review the tapes at the end of the season and see if I'm correct on that. But, I see something great with the transfer additions in this secondary, man. Once again, I see something great, and you can't beat experience.
Yeah, y'all scared for this secondary.
Not one bit.
Yeah, you are. Y'all scared
like,
for this.
what player out there would you feel this is good enough to play up to that Ohio State standard?
No, they ain't. Y'all scared for this secondary. I can tell the way both of y'all talking. Yeah, y'all scared for this secondary. I can tell the way both of y'all talking. Y'all ain't hyping this up. Y'all scared for this secondary.
I don't. Hey, look. Like I said, I don't see it falling off. I see more interceptions.
Man, this
I see more interceptions coming up this secondary.
The wheel's about to fall off this thing, man. The wheel's about to fall off this thing in that back secondary. It's nothing like that. I never heard my man Zay explain all that. I ain't never heard all that explaining.
I'm very thorough.
I ain't never heard all that explaining. Yeah, y'all scared. Y'all scared for this.
Ain't nobody scared, dog.
Hey, these
smoke,
games, I'm saying these first couple games, y'all gonna be all right. I'm talking about Ball State, but this Texas game and this Illinois and Iowa game, y'all gonna have to get it together. Y'all gonna have to get it together, but y'all scared for the secondary.
Not
right now.
Poe want the smoke. You want the smoke. See,
no, I'm just telling y'all right now the way y'all talking. Y'all scared for the secondary.
What did you hear? What did you hear that make you feel like you heard something different?
That y'all scared?
No, I mean, what specifically did you hear?
And y'all got them young players. Y'all know they ain't Caleb Downs. Y'all know he was the quarterback back there. You know.
Hey, nobody has a Caleb Downs. Nobody does.
Yeah, and we only have one young player, and that's Sanchez.
Everybody else got expert.
Sanchez, he gonna shut one side of the field down. We're not worried about Sanchez at all.
It's gonna be a big drop off. Trust me.
No, it ain't.
That's just what you used to, Poe. We don't have drop offs. We don't even know what that looked like. I think you're talking about taking some kids to school or something. You definitely be talking about my program.
Y'all wasn't running two safety high last year because Downs with that quarterback. Y'all about to be running a lot of two safety high. Watch, trust me.
We'll see. Hey, but listen, coming into last year, everybody was saying drop off. I'm like, no, this defense is going to be better than probably 2024. And what happened? They were better. And just listen to the horse.
Dude was like the best defensive player for 2 years in a row. So it wasn't no dropout. I don't care who was back there. Caleb Downs was the best person in the secondary. He was the best person in college football.
That's one guy, though. You talking about one guy.
One guy make a lot of difference, bro.
And we got a lot of guys in the program, period.
Yeah, we got a lot. Hey.
We're gonna see.
Hey, we deep over here, man. We think we worry about nothing. If you're listening to us, you hear no worry about either one of these position groups that we've mentioned, and it's all the same with the secondary.
All right, SEC Sean, you got that next question.
Man, I was beginning to wonder if we were going to get to this question. This is one reason, ladies and gentlemen, you got to have somebody from the opposing side on these streams, because, I mean, you just got to. So, we've already mentioned how much y'all lost. We're not going to keep harping on that from last year's team. But how do you feel about your defensive line and linebackers with what you lost and the guys that were, as y'all said, next in line? How do you feel about how your front seven?
I mean, once again, we have experience. And look, when you lose as much as we lost last year, can y'all believe that I just keep saying we have experience? See, those are the type of things that Parlay Poe he's not understanding and he's not listening. Like, continue to, now we're at the defensive line. And, if you know anything about Ohio State, just to keep everything all the way 100, the defensive line really is the position group who hasn't been living up to that Ohio State standard. So right here and right now, we really don't have much to live up to right now at this position group. But here we come once again. We have that experience. We got Kenyatta Jackson out there. We got Bo Atkins out on that other end. Like I said, experience. This is second year of the program at Ohio State. And then we got those transfers coming in from Bama with Walker and Smith. So, whoa, now we, of course we're losing things. Of course we're losing McDonald as well on that defensive line and Curry. But here we go. We're just plug and play. Plug and play, plug it in, go on about your business, do what Ohio State do, get ready for the Big Ten championship and the college football playoffs, do your job. So, once again, more experience coming in. And I feel like we're going to be a top 5 defense once again.
Top 5 in the Big Ten or the nation?
The nation.
You funny, Paul. Hey, listen, man.
I'm going to clarify it for him, though.
Hey, Kenyatta he loading the All-American season. As long as that other side on the defensive end is taken care of. They got Bo penciled in as DN2 right now, but we'll see about Bo. I guess he picked up some weight and a little bit of athleticism this summer. I think athleticism is one of the hardest things to gain as an athlete. So we'll see how that go. But he was losing snaps to Zion Grady last year, as a true freshman. So yeah, so we gonna see. I like my defensive ends though. Even Bo, I think Bo serves a purpose. But I think we got way more explosive guys, on the depth chart that supposedly is behind him with, Drake Quinn and Kari Wilder. Both of those guys are dudes. It's just about them getting some experience. But keep your y'all's ears open for Epi Satanale. Epi Satanale is the wild card in that room. That dude is a killer. I'm the only thing I keep on hearing is Epi this, Epi that, and he just been balling all spring and summer. So I will not be surprised by the end of the year if he's the number 2 DN opposite of Kenyatta, because Epi Satanale, that dude is coming. Now the inside, we return Edric Houston. He lost a lot of reps in games that he shouldn't have lost. Like in that Ohio game, he had an awful game. You losing to Mac school guards, and that just wasn't a good look. But from what we hearing, that he's starting to hit his 5-star status potential. But the jury is out for me. I got to see it on the field. But James Smith, the transfer from Alabama, he gonna be the best dude on that defensive line in the interior. Dude, when he hit the bag, you see the videos of him hitting the bag. It looked different, And then it's just a lot of depth in that room on that defensive line. I love the depth in that room more than I did last year. And that was a big question coming into the year last year, and I thought those dudes played well. Will Smith Jr. still returned. You got John Walker from Central Florida that's coming in. On the edge, you got Quay Russaw, who's a different type of edge, more of a speed, twitchy guy. You could insert him on 3rd and long. It's a lot of dudes though on that defensive line. Larry Johnson got that room in a real great place right now. That's going to be a strength for the defense.
Yeah, we're gonna rotate them in and out, man. Like we have a great rotation at all 4 of those positions, man. We have a great rotation. We're going to be able to keep those players fresh. So as I stated before, top 5 defense once again, man. We are going to be, y'all going to be in for a surprise, man, because, I'm hard to say that I've seen somebody say and on ESPN, that Ohio State wasn't going to make the college football playoffs, and that's just blasphemy. When does that happen? For somebody even to just open their mouth and say that. But see, that's just the beauty of this program, man. How, it looks like we lost a lot of players, and then here we come with that next season, and there we go right there, just doing what we do. And I think we're going to continue to do what we do. I just love the additions. Every addition that we got this year on that defensive side of the ball, it almost feels like we hit a home run with every single last one of these transfers, because look at the transfers that we done plugged in to these starting positions to go along with the returning starters that we had from last year, man. I mean, one day y'all gonna wake up and understand that nothing changes here at Ohio State.
Post game.
Yeah, I know y'all kind of touched on this question, but can this year's defense be as good as the previous two?
Can they? Absolutely. Absolutely. Will they? We're going to have to find out. But can they? Unfortunately, they can. If you just look at the history of Ohio State, I mean, every year it's like, can they duplicate this? Can they do this? Can they do that? Just ask yourself, when have you seen a drop off? When was the last time you saw a drop off, as Parlay Post said, at Ohio State? Where and when was the last drop off?
Yeah. I mean, they can, and I think if they do be somewhere even in the atmosphere of the last two defenses, you got to take your hat off to Matty P. You know, you don't just keep losing dudes like this and, you know, replacing them without a great defensive mind like Matty P. So if he can be in the top 6, you know, I think he's gonna go down as one of the greatest defensive coaches in Ohio State history. Honestly, you know, that's 2 number 1 defenses and then the top 6 defense.
Hey, we still have we have the potential for that number 1, number 2 spot again. I'm trying to tell y'all, Matt P about the. I mean, we gave him a couple dollars. I'm glad that he didn't leave, because they was trying to get him up out of here, y'all. They were trying to get him up out of here, and I just see him continuing in his 3rd season of, you know, believe it or not, y'all, improving this defense. I believe we have the players. Like I said, I love these transfer additions, man.
Quick follow-up. Real quick for Zay and T1. I remember streaming with y'all last season, and y'all stated that y'all thought the 2025 defense was better than the 24 national championship defense. Do y'all still feel that way?
So
No.
yeah, I remember I was telling y'all last year before the season started, you know, when, you know, this was Arvell Reese's first year stepping into that linebacking spot, and, you know, Sonny was just getting comfortable right there. I told y'all before the season started that we were going to have a dynamic defense. I said it. It's on the record. It's a receipt out there where I said it before it happened, and I feel the exact same way, y'all. This definitely has the potential to be a number 1 defense. And that last year defense was great.
Yeah, that last year's defense was great, but it wasn't better than 2024, only because the simple fact is when they had to get a stop against Miami, they didn't get it. You know, you would have got that stop and moved on to the national championship and won it, you could have went down as better, you know. But that 2024 team, they got key stops when they needed to. That's the only separation.
Yeah, and I say if you were able to, which we can't, you know, up into those last 2 games, that 25 defense was better than 24. The last 2 games is what lost it for them. And as One Take just said, we were not able to get those stops when we needed those stops, and that's what separated the 24 from the 25 defense.
Paul, you got any defensive questions for these 2 Ohio State guys?
Yeah. Who's the key transfers that y'all plugging straight in that's going to come out here and start for y'all in that secondary that y'all scared of?
Get him, One Take.
Man, ain't nobody scared, man. But it's definitely Earl Little and Terry Moore. They gonna play a big role. Oh, and Dominic Kelly too. Dominic Kelly is really pushing Jermaine Matthews. So all 3 of those guys, they're all gonna see a lot of snaps. It's gonna be rotations So all of them is going to play well over 200 snaps, I believe.
Then y'all had the journeyman come. Cam Calhoun, is he back? Is he with y'all?
Yeah, Cam Calhoun, he'll be in rotation, but he more or less the fourth or fifth guy. He'll be in rotation though.
Okay.
Yep, just somebody to keep everything fresh, and they know what he's great at, so they'll make sure to put him in a position where he can go in there and have success the times that he do get up in there. But I'm really interested to see Christian Allegro at that linebacker position, because I know, before our linebackers got to where Sonny and Reese just took it to, I will see those Wisconsin linebackers sometimes, and I'll be like, I wouldn't mind having one of those. So, we got one of those over here, and I'm interested to see how him and Peyton Pierce work together. It's really a complete different dynamic from what we had last year in Sonny and Reese, and I'm really interested to see what that's going to look like.
You know what the knock on the Wisconsin linebacker is, right?
What's that?
They can't cover a corpse.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's the knock on them linebackers, man. You know what I mean?
That's why you put them in position to do, what they do best. So, I think we'd be all right. If there's a play where we need somebody covered, maybe Petty John come in here for him on those passing situations. Because one thing we know that he gonna do, he gonna go up in there and he gonna stuff that run. So, that's why you have to have depth out here. You have to be able to go, 2-3 deep now. You can't just go too deep. You can't just have that backup right there and that's it, and you rocking and rolling with just them two, because it's a long season. It's a long season, so you're gonna have to have fresh bodies out there, and you're gonna have to put the kids out there on the field in position to do what they do best. And if that's not something that Allegro specifies in, like I said, that's when you bring in a Petty John. That's when you bring in a Sincere Johnson. So we're gonna be okay. He gonna do what he do best, and he gonna help us to try to keep that number 1 ranked defense in the country.
Yeah, I think they forget too. We develop guys. So he probably couldn't cover a corpse at Wisconsin, but Rob's seen this all too well. Sonny couldn't cover nothing in 2024. 2025 he could.
Good point.
Yeah. Our man SEC Sean is going to take the last segment of our show here in this Ohio State preview. SEC Sean, here you go.
Well, first off, I'm really glad, Poe, that you mentioned that Wisconsin linebackers can't cover corpses, because I'm going to have to leave WTP Sports and transfer to Wisconsin, because I'm pretty sure I can cover a corpse. And this NIL looks pretty good. Even if it's $50, I'll take it. It's whatever. So
I know that's right.
Ohio State's schedule is pretty rough this year. Y'all have got some games this year, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up. But what outside of, I think we all know about the Texas game, but do you see any potential trap games coming on this schedule? Obviously, Ball State, Texas, there's no trap there. But what games on here pique your interest that could be a trap that you could lose that you shouldn't?
I'm not looking at any game on here that we could lose, but we shouldn't. But if, for the sake of talking sports, there's a lot of trap games on here. The Big Ten is better than a whole lot of people think. A whole lot of people look at Illinois as, just a regular mid team. But if you're not on top of your game, Illinois can pop you. Then you go right to Iowa. Likewise, always has a sound defense. They're going to do something on offense. There are a lot of games that we could call trap games out here. Maryland, you have a Maryland that, they can pop you. Like, we're going to have to play. This is a very, very tough schedule that we have right here. And, You know, you got a USC before Oregon. Like if you want to call it a trap game, that's a trap game. I mean, it's possible. It's very, very possible. But we're going to have to come ready to play every single week, with the exception of those two MAC teams that we have to play. We're going to have to come every single week. I don't see anywhere out here where it's going to be easy, because y'all have to remember, when these Big Ten teams, and really when you have a team like Texas, when they come and play Ohio State, that's what they're living for. That's what they're living for. They live to have an opportunity to beat Ohio State. So they're coming with their A game. You know, we have games with Northwestern where we're going into the fourth quarter. It's a tight ball game. And same goes with, you know, Maryland or Iowa. So there's a lot of possible trip games out here, but, you know, I don't see us tripping up.
Yeah, I look at Iowa. You know, Iowa is always a tough team to play. Just a slow, methodical game that you're going to have to win, pure usual, with Iowa. But I also look at Northwestern, man. They got Aiden Childs in the portal and Chip Kelly as the head coach. So I think they'd probably be able to sneak up on some people this year. You know, that might necessarily be a game, too, fresh off of Oregon, where we might not be all the way up. And, you know, going in the fourth quarter, it might be a one-score game. You know, you just got to sneak out with a win. But, you know, that's just for the sake of argument. I think we beat both of those teams. You know, I don't know if y'all got any more questions about the schedule, but the two games that should be circled is Texas and Michigan. That's it. I think if you win both of those games, you're going to smooth your way right into the playoffs.
Well, you all know that I made a really, really bold prediction. And I said, based on that schedule that we just looked at, that I don't think Ohio State will make the college football playoffs. Can they make it with 3 losses? Because I think they're going to have 3 losses on their schedule this year. I think they play at least 5 or 6 teams that they could possibly lose to. Do y'all think that they can make it to the college football playoffs with 3 losses?
Yeah, what teams do you think we're going to lose to?
I think there's a very good chance that y'all lose to Texas. I think there's a very good chance that y'all lose to Indiana on the road, and a very good chance that y'all lose to Oregon, or USC, or Michigan. So when you look at all 5 of those games right there, I think that they're going to lose 3 of those, or possibly lose 3 of those. So do y'all think they can get in? If they lose 3, do you think they can get in the college football playoffs?
Yeah, but it won't happen. You know, we probably going to play 6 top 25 games in the regular season, maybe 7 for real, honestly. But what you asking for is going against history. You saying Ohio State going to go 2-4 in them games, when, you know, it's usually reversed. We go 4-2 or 5-1 or maybe even 6-0. That's more or less like, and, you know, going into the season, we're only not favorite in 1 game. Let me just throw that out there. And that's the Texas game. They gave us a 46% chance to win. You know, that's the only game we're not favored in. So we got to bet against Vegas as well, you know, when we're talking about this. But if it is a thing where we lose 3 games, yeah, our schedule is so strong that I don't care who that last ACC team is, if it's or the Big 12, I don't care who it is. The brand at Ohio State is so big that I don't think they'll leave us at home. I think it'll be the most dangerous 9-3 team you've seen in the college football playoff era.
Wow, you had to have been bored, or, you know, I have absolutely no. We don't even know what 3 losses look like, bro. We don't see that, and I don't care how hard our schedule appears to be right now, you know. But hell would actually have to freeze over. Well, we did just have a tornado here, so anything's possible. Anything is possible, but I just don't see it happening, Rob. I don't see us losing 3 games. But just like Zay said, if we were to lose 3 games, I mean, who did we lose to and where they ranked at? But I just don't. I'm sorry, I don't see it. We don't know how to lose 3 games, so it's impossible.
Well, let me say this so that way y'all can better understand why I made this bold prediction. When you look at Ohio State's history, let's go back 25 years. They've never had a really, really tough schedule. It always mainly came down to Ohio State, Michigan, when we seen them lose 4 straight times to them in recent history. When you go back and you look at all the really good teams that they played, let's talk about last year's team. We thought was one of the most talented teams in the country, and it was. When they faced Indiana, a really good team, they lost. When they played Miami, a really good team, they lost. When you go back and you look at the times they made it to the college football playoffs and finally played a good team, they lost. Like when you talk about Clemson, when you talk about Alabama, teams like that, whenever they play a really good team and have to play a good team, they always have some kind of difficulty, even though they've had really talented and really good teams. Nobody in there, even 2 years ago when they won the national championship, they lost 2 games and they had a really good football team. The history for Ohio State has always been that they will lose a game to a really good football team when they have them on the schedule. You think about a couple of years ago, they played an Oregon team that was not very good, and they lost at home. You think about Virginia Tech a couple of years ago, maybe 7, 8 years ago, they came into Ohio State and beat Ohio State, who had a really good football team. All I'm saying is now they got a really loaded schedule with a lot of really good football teams. I don't expect them to go better than 9-3, and I don't think they make the college football playoffs. Now, you might look at it as a Ohio State fan and think that I'm not speaking the truth, but when you go look at it, it is the truth because it's on paper.
Hey, I like to say this and throw this too out there about last year in those last 2 games that we played. I mean, we lost our offensive coordinator, and it really actually threw a big monkey wrench on what we were trying to do, for that season, and it showed in those last 2 games. So I'm taking that with a grain of salt, not like, we just fell off and couldn't get these big games. We had a lot of stuff going on at a time where we should have been focused on nothing but winning those 2 games. So, you have to take that in consideration and remember that. And I want to say that's really the main reason why we lost those 2 games.
For everybody too in the chat, the poll that's up is if Ohio State goes 9-3 with their schedule, will they make the CFP? To vote, all you have to simply do is in the chat, put 1 for you think they'll make it or 2 for no. That's all you have to do. Type 1 or 2 in the chat and it'll populate the poll for us. I mentioned it. I don't think it's probable, but it is possible with that schedule. But I'll say, I put yes, they can make the playoff with a 9-3 record. But it's going to come down to how many other teams are 9-3 because you're going to have a swab in the SEC. You're probably going to have 4 or 5 teams with 3 losses down there. So it's going to be but I put they could make it because of that schedule.
Yeah, listen, let me say something and touch on what Rob said, because it's a whole bunch of fabricated stuff that's being said. You saying we lost certain games, we lost a good team, certain games. We have the second best record in playoff era in the college football playoff. So that's contradicting your statement right there with that one fact. Secondly, we beat Notre Dame 2 years in a row. We beat Texas 2 years in a row. These are all top-ranked opponents. We beat Penn State 2 years ago when they was ranked in the top 5. So only thing anybody can really say is that we lost to our rivals and we lost to Indiana in a Big Ten championship game. But as far as highly ranked opponents, we take care of business like we normally have. We haven't been losing highly ranked games. So I don't understand where you're getting these statements from. And we had the hardest, playoff run out of any team already in 2024 when we ran through like 5 or 6 straight ranked teams. We've seen us do this before. So I don't know where you're basing all this information from. On paper, the facts say different to me. I like to compare notes one day.
Yeah,
for sure.
Listen, y'all rank number 1 in the AP for the 9th time,
and I hate it.
Y'all only won when y'all had the number 1 rank. Y'all only won it one time.
Yeah, they playing for our downfall.
Yeah, that's why we don't like that number 1 rank. That means nothing. I don't like it. Don't put me. They can put us down at 15. I don't care about none of that stuff.
When you do preseason rankings and you giving number 1 rankings, I don't even know how we qualified for the number 1 ranking, because when you look at Oregon, they returned down near their whole team, and that was an easy number 1 ranking for them. Then you turn around, you look at Notre Dame with everything that they returned. Yeah, they lost Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, but they returned a lot. And, we replacing the whole defense. I don't even know why they gave us the number 1 ranking.
Man.
All right. Well,
and not to mention Indiana. Don't leave Indiana out of there. You got Indiana who, Sig is just he acting like he trying to plug and play. We're gonna see, how serious they are about staying in contention year in and year out this year.
I mean, I'm quite sure we all can agree Ohio State has never in the history of their program ever had a schedule this daunting. So we're going to see if they navigate.
Hey, you can say that about 97% of the college teams. College teams do not have schedules like this. This is a real schedule. Teams do, unless you a bottom feeder, and they throw you all the hard games. But like major programs, they never have schedules like this. But I'm glad the Big Ten did this, because all we keep on hearing around the country is Ohio State don't play nobody. Yeah, we do. We in the Big Ten. We play the same schedule that the teams in the SEC is playing. It's just they don't have the national, they don't have the national respect from a lot of people because the name is different. Like Arkansas is Northwestern.
You're right.
It's the same thing.
Northwestern.
It's okay.
Or Minnesota or Illinois or Iowa. And the only point that he's trying to get across to y'all is the people who say that we have these weak schedules are the people who don't believe in Big Ten football and don't know and understand that year, week in and week out, I don't care who you're playing, you're going to have to play. And as you've seen in these past 3 bowl seasons, when you play that Big Ten team, if you're not ready, you're going to get your head smacked. And we've been smacking in a bowl. So one day we're going to get some respect. And all the Ohio State don't play nobody. We still will have the years we're playing Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, Wisconsin, and people not understanding what those teams were year in and year out. All of those teams that I mentioned, they were good year in and year out where you had to play those teams, with maybe the exception of Michigan.
Man, for a fact, year in and year out, all them teams you just named, no matter where you played them at, Ohio State or Michigan, they was killing both of them teams. They was killing all of them teams.
We wasn't killing them. We were in
Ohio State and Michigan,
a two-team race
for decades, bro. Wisconsin, you can sprinkle them in a little bit. Come on,
hey,
man.
Rob, let me explain something to you, though. Michigan State and both Wisconsin both made the college football playoff. We can go through a whole bunch of guys in SEC that has not made the college football playoff. So you got to put a little more respect on their name.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
I mean, this is facts, though. I mean, we talking about these teams that get thumped on, and maybe they're not good each and every year, but we have more programs that made the college football playoff than the SEC. So it's clearly rotating, and we having good teams from other programs more than the SEC, and it's been going on for a long time now.
That's not true because I can name at least 8 freaking SEC teams that made the college football playoffs, and you definitely cannot name 8 in the Big Ten, bro.
And I guarantee you,
let's go to the next question, bro. Let's go to.
We can do this all day. You
all day. I'm gonna do it all day when I get back to work.
I'm waiting on you.
Post game.
Yes, sir, man. Really interesting dialogue. What's the ceiling and the floor for Ohio State wins and losses this season?
Go ahead, one take.
Yeah, the floor got to be 8-4. You know, if you're playing 6 top 25 games, you know, a program like Ohio State, we got uber talent. I don't think you would lose more than 4 of those games as a floor. You know, it is really like what Rob is saying. It is possible, you know, to lose 3 of the 4 or 4 of the 6 games, you know, that's on that schedule. But that's the floor. But of course, you know, Ohio State year in and year out, the ceiling is always going to be damn near 12-0. You know, you probably going to go into 98% of the games, the most talented team. So, you know, 12-0 is pretty much usually your ceiling.
I got the floor at 10-2. I got the floor at 10-2, and guess what? That 10-2 floor it's gonna cave in, and we're gonna be down in the basement. So, and just like One Take said, you know, that ceiling is always 12-0, 13-0. So, yeah, floor is only 10-2.
Okay, Paul.
And I don't even know where those 2 games is coming from. Especially once we go 2-0.
Paul, you got any question about their schedule?
None at all. None at all.
Hey, Paul, we got a kicker. I said that last year.
Hey, I'm loving y'all. I'm loving y'all got a away game before y'all play us at y'all's house. I'm loving that. I'm loving that.
What does that make a difference? We're gonna thump on Nebraska.
I know y'all probably will, but y'all still gotta go out there.
Y'all don't even understand the little small things that be happening for us that has us you know, like losing those games last year where we talking about little field goal. We're talking about 15, 20-yard field goals, and you know, just miscommunication with the offensive coordinator being out. I mean, we just had some small things, and like One Take said, we got a kicker now. So, you know, that's going to make a difference. It's just we just have small things that we have to correct going into these next seasons. But man, it's gonna be beautiful, man.
Yeah, hey, you know, we got some nuggets on the schedule. You know, this schedule is strong, right? But you know, you playing Texas in between 2 MAC schools. Illinois, that's a rivalry game. You play for a trophy every year. That's going to lead us right into Iowa on the road. But, you know, you play Indiana and USC. You got a bye week in between those games. So you ain't got to go West Coast a week after. You know, you do got Oregon right after you go to USC, though. You know, and that's probably the strongest 2-game stretch right there in the season. But then you playing Northwestern, Nebraska, then you got Michigan at home, of course. The schedule, to me, it ain't as it's strong, but it ain't as brutal. Everybody keep on saying. I wouldn't see like no reason why people will cough at us going 11-1, 12-0 with this schedule, because I feel like each and every week it's not like it's just brutal to where you got back-to-back matchups, and when you look at it on paper, it is like that when you go Indiana, USC, Oregon, but having a bye week in between Indiana and USC, it loosens it up to me. So. I mean, I'm excited, man. We're about to run through this. It's about to. I mean, I'm just gonna be looking at everybody on the panel like, what y'all got to say now?
They always look out for y'all. They always look out for y'all. Well,
there we go.
They do.
Start the narrative now.
Where y'all got Oregon at? Y'all got Oregon here?
Yeah, that's at the crib.
Okay, yeah. See, they always look out. Y'all got to buy
We
before
go to
Oregon,
Indiana and USC though. Like,
y'all got to buy before Oregon.
Yeah. No, it's before USC.
Okay.
We got a bye after we go to Indiana.
Also, y'all got Indiana, USC, and Oregon together.
Yeah.
They got a bye in between them.
Okay. Yeah, they looking out.
Well, hey, Zay, one take. Here's the thing, one take. Here's the thing. You know, since they always think we have a soft schedule. That's all you ever. Ohio State soft schedule. Ohio State got a soft schedule. Like, dude, y'all think it's soft because it's the Big Ten. So now we got this schedule and got a couple more games on it. It's nothing, man. It's nothing.
Out of all the big schools in the country, bro, y'all do bowl the record for the most week schedules, bro. This stuff, that's a fact.
That's not a fact,
man. That's a fact.
That's called hatred.
Y'all,
that's called hatred when you don't.
Hold on.
That's called hatred when you don't respect a Michigan.
Bro.
Hold on, y'all.
Stop for a second.
That's disrespect when y'all don't respect a Michigan State, a Wisconsin, a Penn State, a Michigan, and we're playing all four of those games, and then still gotta, go and play a Minnesota that's pretty good, or Iowa that's still pretty good, that's going to give you a work for their money, or Purdue. Y'all just don't respect those teams. So that's why, and it's just like One Take said, because they don't get that national respect. So just to y'all outsiders, all of those teams are just doormats, and stop it.
Rob, I'm gonna have to say this, and I hate it because the SEC stuff, but anybody from Texas has no reason to talk about tough schedules because Texas has had some weak ass schedules. Your first 2 years in the SEC were garbage. You played nobody. This year it's different.
We played Georgia, bro.
Okay,
that's one game. Just like we play Michigan every year. Like, what are you talking about? That's the most winningest program in the history of college football.
I'm just saying. Texas's schedule has been pretty weak.
Okay, we'll talk about that when we do the Texas preview. We'll talk about Texas schedule when we do the Texas preview.
Oh, I'm gonna be ready.
I'm gonna be ready.
Yeah. Texas schedule this year is pretty rough.
Hell yeah, it's brutal.
On paper,
time out of 10 years.
Anybody got any more questions for these Ohio State guys before we wrap up?
Nah.
All right, we appreciate everybody joining in. If you didn't get a chance to do that poll, please do that poll real quickly. Do you think Ohio State will make the college football playoffs if they go 9-3? All you got to do is pick one if you think they will, pick a two if you think they won't. Make sure that you do that. I appreciate everybody joining us today. We'll be back again. I think Monday we're going to do the Florida State preview. On Tuesday, we'll be doing Texas A&M. On Thursday, that's to be determined right now. But we want to try to get Florida State, Texas A&M, Texas, Notre Dame, Michigan, all of those previews done before the college football season starts. So make sure you hit that notification bell for the show. Let you know anytime we're going live because we want you to be in attendance when we do go live. So make sure you hit that notification bell. Everybody have a good rest of their day, and we will see y'all again tomorrow.
Peace.
Peace out, fellas. Love y'all.
Love you too, bro.